This podcast is brought to you by Infinite Resources, a local staffing agency connecting diverse job candidates in central Iowa companies.
Amplified.
Say wagwan out there in social media world. This is Dr. Negus Imhotep coming again with some more information. We are here today, and before we get started, I always want to give my shout out to the sponsors of Infinite Resources as well as Amplified DSM for giving us the opportunity to get here and do this thing, to disseminate information to the public. I hear that music and a song just resonated in my mind. And the lyrics went this way. It said, by the rivers of Babylon, yeah, we wept when we remember Zion. For the wicked had carried us away into captivity, and they required a song from us. How can I sing King Alpha and Queen Omega song in a strange land? It's rougher than rough and tougher than tough, but we were made like iron. And that's why we are lions right here in the land, better known as the belly of the beast, also called Des Moines, Iowa. Shout out to everybody today. I have a topic I'm dealing with. I've been looking at the media, been reading a lot of different articles, ran through a couple of books. One just recently I read, Killers of the Flower Moon. Something else. But before I go on, the topic that I'm going to deal with is the tragedy of white injustice. Marcus Mosiah Garvey wrote a poem entitled The Tragedy of White Injustice. And I want to read 4 stanzas of this particular poem. I know he wrote it in the 1920s. And here it goes. Lying and stealing is the white man's game. For rights of God nor man he has no shame. A practice of his throughout the whole world. At all great thunderbolts he has hurled. He has stolen everywhere, land and sea. A buccaneer and pirate he must be, killing all as he roams from place to place, leaving disease, mongrels, and moral disgrace. The world's history of him is replete. From his javelin boats, he builds fleets. Hosts as he robs and crushes below, of friends and neighbors, he has made a foe. From our men and women, he had made slaves. Then boasting, he calls himself a brave. Cowardly, he steals of his trusted prey. Killing in the dark, then shout, he hooray. Not to go back to a time prehistoric, only when men in nature used to frolic. And you will find his big, long murder list, showing the plunders of his mailed fists, Africa, Asia, and the Americas. Tell the tales of the moral replica, how tribesmen, Indians, and Zulus fell, fleeing the murder bandits, pell-mell. American Indian tribes were free, sporting, dancing, and happy as could be. Asian hordes lived then a life their own. To civilizations they would have grown. Africa's millions laughed with the sun, and the cycle of men a course to run. In stepping the white man, bloody and grim, the light of these people's freedom is dim. Those were the first 4 stanzas of Marcus Garvey's poem, The Tragedy of White Injustice. I had to do that because, like I stated, I have been what I've been labeled as a polymath, having the opportunity to work in the Houston Public Library for a number of years. I got paid to learn. And now I have all this information in my head, and I'm just trying to pull it out to let others know, because I don't want to leave this world without giving information that I have obtained to others. The tragedy of white injustice. I'm looking at what's happening in the Middle East. I'm not going to even say the Middle East. We call it the Near East. It's not such thing as a Middle East. The Near East, looking at where present-day Israel, the issue with the Israelis and the Palestinians, looking at the wars and the tragedies, the genocide that is occurring there. It's happening in Ukraine. It happened in Myanmar. Another genocide that's going on. We look at the genocide that happened in Ethiopia between the Eritrea and Ethiopia, the Amharas and the Tigray people. What's happening in the Congo. All over the world, there's trouble. And people are taking the lives of millions. But here in this state of America, we sit back, relax, get ready, because it's that time of the season where it's everybody talking about turkey right now. I remember one book in regards to the same subject. A Dr. Ishamusa Barashango wrote a book called African People, European Holidays and the Mental Genocide. African people in America are so festive and so happy to celebrate these holidays that symbolize their demise. It's sad when you've been conditioned by a power structure to make you think that everything that Europeans done is goody, good. But that's not the case. I had just, last night, my wife and I went to the movie Killers of the Flower Moon. It was a depiction of a historical fact that had occurred in Oklahoma. 2 years after the Tulsa Massacre, the same group of European descended Americans took their rage on a group of people called the Osage. When the Europeans came there and found out that these group of people was on land where oil was, they immediately found ways to manipulate and kill off of people so that they could steal the land and take those resources to become millionaires. Some later became billionaires. I don't know how a certain group of people sometimes can just go to bed at night and rest and feel at peace when you know your hands are covered in blood. I watched this movie. I saw how the person who Leonardo DiCaprio was playing, and also Robert De Niro was playing Satan himself. The man who was calling himself the king of the Osage, and he's a white man calling himself the king of a tribe of people who were indigenous to this land. People who are hungry after power. People who are hungry after wealth will do almost anything to you. I'm not going to say almost. I'm going to say they will do anything to you if you're in their way. And this movie showed just how they were eliminating people so that they could become rich. Marcus Garvey stated in this poem over 100 years ago, right around the same time of all this stuff was happening back then. Yet we here in America today think everything's different now. Not so. The powers that be are still in place. People in this country, sometimes even in my particular demographic, thinks that if we got somebody black in office that looks like you, everything's going to change. Nothing from that's the farthest thing from the truth that you can ever expect. I was talking to these people and these folks. I was having lunch with a young man just yesterday, and he was talk about how everything is and how he plans to move forward. And I said, that's good. I said, it's good if you move forward, but don't forget where you came from. Don't forget the people that you left behind. Some you can help, some you can't. But if you obtain that type of power and wealth that you plan to get, come back to your community and help your people. It's no good if you rise and nobody else comes up. But we as a group of people have been known for this crab in the bucket type of mindset. The tragedy of white injustice states just what it is. I'm getting tired of just talking about beating people down and what we see happening everywhere around the world. I was talking to some people here just yesterday, and they're looking at, hey, we need support. We need help in different places around the world. We need help right here in the U.S. This country is sending money abroad to people and different nations because of their vested interests, while people right here in this country are in peril. They want to tell you happy Thanksgiving, have a great day, have this and that. People concerned now about if somebody has food to eat. They get real concerned around Thanksgiving and Christmas, and people want to feel like it's time to be given. But then throughout the year, the other 10 months of the year, every now and then somebody might throw a handout. Looking at the condition of this nation and what's going on right now, we got a president right now that they call him, Donald Trump calling him Sleepy Joe. Wondering if he knows what he's doing, but he does. He couldn't be up there in the position of power up on Capitol Hill for 40 plus years and not know what's going on. A lot of those people who are right in there looking all sharp and clean, but their hands are full of blood. They're going to tell you what can wash away my sin, nothing but the blood of Jesus. Y'all need to come off that too. I wonder when that blue-eyed white dude with the blonde hair going to come back and save somebody. They've been saying it for thousands of years. I'm not looking for what's up in heaven. I want to live and see what's going on right here while I'm here. I want to do something, make something better for my people, for all people, right while I'm here. And what is needed is the truth. Here in this state of Iowa, we hear these people talking about DEI. Just the other day, just this morning, I heard on the news that the Iowa Board of Regents have a problem with DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and they want to ban it on these state campuses. Why they want to ban it? Because they want to deny the true story about what has happened in this nation. The same way as they did in Oklahoma at Tulsa, the same way they did with the Osage Indians in Oklahoma. A lot of people say, well, I never heard about that. They didn't teach us that in school. There was a reason behind that. They didn't want their nasty story to be told about them. Let you know that they're not as great as they want you to believe. George Washington never told a lie. He said he chopped down a tree, a cherry tree, and he said he couldn't tell a lie. Well, the biggest lie in the world was that he chopped down a cherry tree. He probably did and didn't really give a damn if he chopped it down or not. They talk about George Washington and all his, first someone around here in this particular portion of the world with dentures. They said his teeth was made of wood. That was the biggest lie in the world. His teeth were made from teeth that came out the mouth of Africans. But they don't want to teach you that in school. What is America afraid of? I have the answer. It's called TRUTH, truth. The truth needs to be told. The truth needs to be taught. Young folks are coming up and different generations are coming behind us, and they won't know the truth because somebody's trying to hide it. They ban books. Certain books, oh no, we can't have our kids reading that. And many of the Caucasian parents say, oh, I don't want my children to think that we were just evil. Were? Okay. Oh, are just evil. It's a part of your nature. Understanding where you came from. Out the caves and hills of Europe. Where my people were in a land where it was flowing with milk and honey. Let me put it to you this way. The continent of Okibelon, better known as Africa, fed the entire planet until 1960. Why 1960? 1960 is a pivotal date because many nations in Africa obtained flag independence from colonial rule in 1960. And the production of food was changed. It was changed to make the food that was being processed or grown, not to extract it out, but certain foods they wanted to eliminate. Indigenous crops were attempted to be eliminated because it wasn't for the Western world or the Europeans' gain. Everybody knows the Swiss Miss instant cocoa with the marshmallows, or the Bavarian chocolate. There's no cocoa in Europe. Cocoa grows in Africa. And without cocoa, you cannot make chocolate. And I love chocolate. And we see right now what's happening in Niger and other portions of West Africa where the French want to come in and just take things, the same way in Ghana. The people want to just come in and take things, and now it's a day of reckoning, a day of waking up, where the people on the continent are coming to grips with themselves and saying, you just can't take these products and tell me what you're going to give me. The fair trade has to occur. The tragedy of white injustice is a never-ending story. And those who play a part in it, sometimes we don't even know we play a part in it by continuing to accept what the power system has given us. Oh, there's a need for a change. There's a need for the minds of people to be washed clean. Get all of this dirt out of our heads and this distortion out of our heads about these lying stories and this Frankfurt school of thought that makes you think that Western civilization is the zenith of all civilizations. That's a lie. I'm talking to people from Africa. I'm talking to people right here in America. I'm talking to people from all around the world. And folks are getting tired of the same old mess. The tragedy of white injustice. I pray for the day that it ends and they prevail no longer. Not just to set the record all the way straight, but just to let people come to understand we can live together on this planet. We have to. We're only human. All of us are human. If we come to realize and find out that all the things that we look at each other and try to say why we're different, we have a whole lot in common. I love, I hate. I take care of my children. I try to do for my community. But yet, this system is like a cancer. It's eating away at us. It's continuing to separate people. The commonality of mankind is in peril right now. And I pray for the day when that change comes. Martin Luther King said it back in the day when he stood up right there at the Washington Monument. He had a philosophy, an idea about an America that was accepted of all its people. It's a noble idea. I can even remember the day when I was a little boy and I saw that speech occur when my mother and father set us in the living room right there when he stood on ABC or CBS, whatever station we was watching, when he stated this. He had a dream. But it looks like that dream has become a nightmare. Wake up, people. Check yourself first. Get yourself in order. If you don't know how, seek from your higher power if you believe in one. To get yourself straight first. And then when you do that, work it out in your home. After you got it straight in your home, then go into your community. Because you can't tell me nothing about getting right if you're not right yourself. The tragedy of white injustice is going to lead us to World War III. And we're right knocking on the door. And now I'm not going to tell you Happy Thanksgiving. You should be thankful any damn way. If you're here breathing, living, got a roof over your head, you need to be thankful. And I don't need somebody to tell me when I should be thankful. I don't need nobody to tell me when I should love my woman on a Valentine's Day. I don't need nobody to tell me these things. If it's in my heart and that's the way I want to live, I'm going to live and show love everywhere I go. You say, Dr. Negus, you throw out some harsh words, but I had to because I love you. I want you to know the truth about what's happening in this God-forsaken world. I don't have too much more to say because my heart is heavy. While I think about my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren and those generations coming behind them, oh, we need a change. We need a change in a positive direction so we can see the unification of all people on this planet. But first, we got to get our stuff in order before we talk about changing the whole world. I don't know, but I just hope everybody have a safe time throughout the end of this week, and don't hurt yourself trying to eat too much food, because y'all know some of y'all got diabetes and all the rest of this stuff. Don't be tripping, knowing you're not supposed to be eating all them daggone cakes and pies. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Plus, then you're going to come back at the end of the year and talk about, I'm going to make a New Year's resolution, knowing you ain't going to do nothing. You're going to keep on doing what you've been doing. I'm just off. Some of y'all praying for me, some of y'all ain't. But I don't care. This is Dr. Negus Imhotep. I'm signing off. I'm not going to eat no turkey. Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by Infinite Resources, a local staffing agency connecting diverse job candidates in central Iowa companies.
Amplified.